Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to In the Mix with Mayor Marty Small Sr. And our first guest of the day, he is the new District Communications Specialist for the Atlantic City Board of Education, Mark Tyler. Welcome to In the Mix.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a great show and a great, exciting introduction. I love it. First things first, I want to say thank you. This is an honor and a privilege to be on your show and to talk to your listeners today.
And it's a great day here in the city of Atlantic City. Can we say great day?
Great day.
All right, let's get right into it. Let's talk to the listening audience about your life story. Take us from birth, education, your career path, all the way up into today.
Okay, I was born in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I am proud to say I'm born and raised here. I grew up in Back Maryland, which is now called the Marina District. I grew up on Maryland Avenue. Shout out to the 700 block. I went to Atlantic City Public Schools. I went to Indiana Avenue School. I graduated from Dr. Martin Luther King Complex, which was West Side Complex at that time. Then I went to Chelsea, so I'm a Chelsea Clipper. Then I went to Atlantic City High School. I'm an Atlantic City Viking. Then, while I was a Viking, I had the honor and the privilege of being a member of the very first class of the Go On and Learn program with Stockton University with Dr. Vera King Ferris. After that, I went to Washington Adventist University, where I got my degree in journalism. And then I came home and I became a member of the press of Atlantic City, where I did journalism for 10 years. After I left the press, I did some real estate development and some investments and so on. Then I went to Maryland and I started a online newspaper down at Aberdeen Proving Ground. Then I kind of came back and now I'm here. And there's been some other things along the way, but that's basically the journey.
All right, I can remember when I started off officially into politics, I ran and won for the Atlantic City Board of Education.
Yes, you did.
And you were the reporter that covered the board meetings. Talk to the listening audience about what inspired you to be in the media.
Oh, Lord have mercy. When is ready, ready? You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
When is ready, ready? What inspired me to be in the media goes back to my 5th grade. There was a basketball tournament which they started back up recently in recent years called the Seagull Classic. There was a incident. The media wrongly laid the blame at the feet of Atlantic City. And in my 5th grade, I said, if I ever get a chance, I'm going to become a member of the media, and I'm going to show those guys how to get the story right. So from that point to this point, that's what I've always endeavored to do. So I went off to college, I got my degree in journalism, I came back, I worked for the Press of Atlantic City, and I got the story right. That was my goal.
And he made 2 references to when is ready, ready. You know, forever, people always said that I was too young, when I aspired to certain positions. You party too much, because I didn't throw parties, I threw events. That was the slogan. Marty Small Entertainment, we don't throw parties, we throw events. So I did an interview with Mark talking about being ready. And I said, just answer the question. When is ready, ready? So that was a little insider to, an interview back in the day. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Did you have any difficulty as a black reporter starting out, wanting to get the story right, and having to deal with editors who sometimes like to spin the narrative their way?
I did. Actually, there were times when...
And let me stop you.
Okay.
I'm going to pause on there with times when. That's the pause button.
Okay.
We tell the truth on In the Mix because I got the nosiest listening audience in the universe. So, go ahead.
There were times when I did stories, and I said, I'm going to write the story the right way, and I'm turning the story in, and I'll read about it in the paper the next day, just like everybody else. So I never concern myself with editing myself to tell the story the wrong way. I always just told it straight, and then I'll wake up and read it in the paper just like everybody else. In terms of having trouble as a black reporter out in the community, I never had that trouble because people see you as the face of the organization, and nobody wants to pick a fight with people who buy their ink by the barrel. So.
Say that again, nobody wants to what?
Nobody wants to pick a fight with people who buy their ink by the barrel.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot because we put everybody on the spot here
Okay.
in the mix. What was the craziest story you ever covered for the press?
Wow, craziest story I ever covered for the press. I would have to say it was when the girl had the baby in the bus station bathroom.
Oh.
I did cop reporting, I did school district reporting, I did so many different avenues, but that had to have been the craziest because this was a young girl, she was from overseas, and she came to Atlantic City to have her baby in our bus station bathroom. It was crazy because I was able to get in on a granular level. I actually talked to her, and when because that's a national, international story. So you have all types of media coming in town. You got Philadelphia media, you got New York media, you got the Associated Press, you have everybody coming in town. And it was my goal to beat everyone because you can't come to my city and beat me. And so that was the craziest story. And it was sad because the young lady felt so hopeless that she left her child in a bathroom. And that's the kind of hopelessness that is out there. Was not a person from Atlantic City, but it had that Atlantic City date line.
Absolutely. So, we talked about your career at the press. Then you came back to the area after a stint in Maryland and doing other things like we talked about.
Yes.
You started your own newspaper
Yes.
called AC Focus. Talk to the listening audience about that.
Yes. Specifically, it is Atlantic City Focus, and we are an online digital news outlet. We are at www.atlanticcityfocus.com, all spelled out. Our motto is, if it's important to you, it's important to us. And we want to give people in a community an opportunity to tell their own story in their own way. And the reason we do this is because we must take responsibility for telling our own stories. We must be the keepers of our own traditions and the keepers of our own history. We're very proud of our Weekend Guide newsletter. We publish this in direct response to community requests. As I was thinking about starting the online newspaper, one of the things that I heard repeatedly is people say, hey, we need an events guide, we need events, we will accept your news, but we must have events. And so we specifically curate weekend events with the community in mind. And we would like to thank the community for being so responsive because we listened and the community respond. Our open rate is 50%. Now marketers will tell you that's unheard of. Most people are lucky to get a 20% open rate, but if they get 30%, they're doing cartwheels. But our Atlantic City community is giving us a 50% open rate, and that's amazing, and that's outstanding. www.atlanticcityfocus.com if you want to get events on the weekend, go to our website, subscribe. It is absolutely free, and you will get the weekend guide in your inbox. We're also very proud of our Atlantic City focused civic engagement guide. And I can't mention the civic engagement guide without mentioning all the support we've gotten from Allende Merle and the New Jersey Civic Information Consortium. And then you got Stephanie Murray and Joe Amditas from the Center for Cooperative Media at Montclair State University. So the civic engagement guide has phone numbers, it has the way you contact various people. You'll be surprised at how many people just don't know where to go or who to contact for information. So these are all of the things that we're doing with Atlantic City Focus. And Mayor, I would like to first personally thank you, because before I started AtlanticCityFocus.com, I came up to the 7th floor, I told you what I intended to do.
Yeah.
You immediately caught the vision, you saw that it was something positive for the city. You put me in touch with some resources. At that time, I was a little too early in the process, so I wasn't quite ready. But I appreciated the fact that you saw what I was trying to do, and you didn't discourage me. You encouraged me. And so we are live and up and running today, in part because of your encouragement.
I appreciate that, man, definitely. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have just joined us, we are live in the WTTH and WZBZ studios. We are here in the mix with the District Communications Specialist for the Atlantic City Board of Education, Mark Tyler. Now, overall, why do you think it was important to start AC Focus?
Oh, it was important because we have to tell our own stories. We have to be the keeper of our own history. If you look at legacy media does not have time to get into your community on a granular level. And if they do, they may or may not get the story right. We have to take responsibility for our own community. And in my way, this is what I can do, right? You are the mayor, so you do a myriad of things to help the community. But if every individual who is genuinely concerned about the Atlantic City community will do what they can do, then we will have a better community overall. And so this is what I can do. This is what I bring to the table. And so that's why it was important for me to start.
All right, so let's talk about why you're here this morning. Media just isn't the same anymore with the large presence of social media. Everybody's a reporter.
Exactly.
Everybody got a cell phone and a camera. Everybody can record. Deadlines are instant now. Before, if you didn't get a story in by 8 o'clock, you had to wait for the story to run the following day. I remember it caused the AP, and do you remember the UPI?
Oh yeah. Man.
Yes. So I got a media background, being a communications major. So it's one of those things where it's just not the same. I was telling a colleague who's on city council the other day of it not being the same because the press always had a city hall beat reporter.
Yes, they did.
That means that person's job was to cover City Hall. So it was 3 to 4 stories a week on something City Hall, whether it's from City Council, the administration. That was their job, that was their focus, to get stories and run with it.
Yes.
Then, not only that, we had TV 40.
Yes.
When TV 40 was up and running, they were at every council meeting. They covered things in Atlantic City.
Yes.
But wait, there's more. Then we had local access, Channel 2,
Yes.
where you couldn't go nowhere in the community without someone saying, I saw you on TV at the council meeting. So you're taking all of that away. Yes, the press is still there, but the press only runs a few days a week now. They have an online platform, but so does everybody else.
Yes.
So it's really different. And then all of this great stuff, and we tell it like it is in the mix that's going on, and I bring other people on in the mix, so people aren't saying that I'm on here toot my own horn. I'm just telling the truth. Because if I wasn't doing anything positive, you would hear it from the community.
Well, here's the thing. I had a good friend who was a former pastor of mine who said this: he who refuses to toot his own horn will soon not have a horn to toot. So you toot your horn. You say the good things that are happening, because if you don't say them, nobody's gonna say them.
No, I'm saying the perception. So I also bring people on here to tell their story. So again, we go all 6 wards. Everyone is saying we're doing a good job. And the same people who are saying that we're not are jealous, are hateful,
Yes.
are envious, and they just happen to be white men. And that's not a racist statement. That is the truth. Everyone else is saying that we're doing a good job. So I'm going somewhere. So initially, because of my media background, 2 straight budgets, the state was like, get you a public information officer. I'm like, nah, I got it. I'm good at putting information out. We could use that money somewhere else. So finally, you know, it's an overwhelming job as mayor. So let someone else focus on that. And I've been blessed to have 2 tremendous public information officers
Yes.
in the city. Rebecca Mina, who is now in D.C. covering the federal government, and now Andrew Kramer, who is our current PIO, and we have so much going on. We have an assistant PIO, which is Alexis Young.
Yes.
So they do an awesome job of activating the city's social media,
Yes.
putting the information out. I've been the most proactive mayor on making sure everybody knows what we're doing with our use of social media, our frequent press conferences, and we have a system to let everyone know what's going on. All you got to do is sign up. Again, let me get that a plug.
Yes.
To know everything that's going on in the great city of Atlantic City, go not now but right now to www.acnj.gov, and you will see a scrolling banner at the top that say sign up for AC Alerts. We're about to have a major press conference. You're going to get a text. We got funding. You're going to get a text. Everything that we're doing. So I'm saying that to say, my wife, Dr. LaQuetta Small, who's the superintendent of schools, we want to downplay the aforementioned haters and put out positive things. So hence, this position was advertised and you interviewed, and because of your excellent resume and your career, you were chosen as the district communications specialist to do the same thing that we're doing with the city, but for the Board of Education and getting their information out. And I tell people all the time, the mayor of Atlantic City was just the mayor of Atlantic City. We control Atlantic City government. We are not in control of the school board, the housing authority, or anything else. So what I want you to do, Mr. Tyler,
Yes.
is now that you're here, you're the new district communication specialist for the Atlantic City Board of Education. Talk to the listening audience about your new role.
I get the honor and the privilege of telling all of the fantastic stories that come out of our local school district. There are fantastic people and amazing programs that deserve to be known the world over, and that starts by letting it be known at home. So you are getting 2 to 3 texts per week with stories of great things that are happening. We're putting up Facebook posts of great stories that are happening. There are so many good things that are going on. I'll give you just one example. My very first story that I wrote as the district communications specialist was to talk about all of the various programs at Atlantic City High School. There's a first-class television studio there. Not everybody knows about it. There's a first-class radio station there. Not everybody knows about it. There's an award-winning robotics team that is going to the state champions this weekend. Not everybody knows about it. They're learning
the computer language Java. They're working with a program called MATLAB. These are skill sets that these young people are going to take into high earning positions right away. You have the Atlantic City Public Safety Academy. Students can learn how to become a police officer, a firefighter, an EMS tech, a member of the beach patrol. And these are good, solid jobs that allow a person to buy a home, to buy a car, to raise a family if that's what they choose to do. Then you got people who can take the seal of biliteracy test. The world is changing. The country is changing, so there are so many people who speak so many different languages, and so Atlantic City High School students can get a certification, and those certifications come with dollars. There's cybersecurity training. Atlantic City is poised to be on the forefront of cybersecurity. Then you got JROTC. You know, that's not just about people joining the military. They learn self-discipline, they learn self-awareness, they learn all of these different things, and there are 14 JROTC seniors, right? But that program has already identified more than $500,000 worth of scholarship for those students who want to go to college. Then if you got students who really are laser focused on college, you have about 19 advanced placement courses right there at the high school. Then you have clubs, not to mention all the great things that individuals are doing who are associated with the high school. We have to shout out Coach Eugene Allen, winningest coach in Atlantic City boys basketball history, recently inducted to the South Jersey Basketball Hall of Fame, right? State champion swimmer James Haney. He just declared that he's going to be a University of Delaware Blue Hen this fall. So, and that's just at the high school. We haven't even talked about district-wide yet. District-wide, yeah, am I running? I'm very passionate about what we're doing. You have a robust social emotional learning program. So the kids are learning self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, responsible decision making. These are all things that they will take into their real lives. Then the district just had a fantastic Read Across America event. You had Board of Education members come in to read. You had City Council members come in to read. You had police come in to read. You had members of the business community come in to read. And everybody is talking about how important it is to be a reader. And Mayor, you know, as a mayor, the volume of documents that come across your desk that you have to be able to read and comprehend to make informed decisions, it's amazing. So Read Across America, just an amazing thing. Then we don't just focus on the academic things, there are also fun things. The district held the elementary school cheerleading competition. Shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. School Complex, my alma mater, who won the Ultimate Showdown, and New York Avenue School, who won the Champions March. Then this weekend, the district is holding the elementary school basketball championship.
And it's going on right now as we speak.
Going on right now as we speak. They're taking the kids over to the MAC tournament. I mean, there's so much going on, but we have to be responsible, and we have to take responsibility for being the guardians of our stories, and that's where that shows the superintendent is forward-thinking, intentional about the district's narrative. And if we don't control our narrative, it will be whatever they say it is.
All right, so let's play rapid fire with these last couple of questions.
Okay.
You said the superintendent,
Yes.
who I happen to know just a little bit.
Okay.
What is it like working with Dr. Small? This is in the mix, you got to tell the truth.
I enjoy working with Dr. Small. Here's why. She's a perfectionist, and I'm a perfectionist too. So it doesn't bother me if she is persnickety. If I get something wrong, and I don't get it wrong often, right? She's going to catch it, and she's going to hold me to task. But you know what? That makes me a better person, and it makes me better at what I do.
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron.
All right, so briefly, what's different in this role versus your other media roles?
Internal versus external communications. This is an internal communications position. So I get a lot more cooperation being an internal communicator, because people are not looking for the got you questions, and they're not like antsy, like, ooh, what does he really want to do? They know what I want to do. I want to tell a good story, so they're not hiding from me. They return my phone calls. It's crazy.
All right, so what's your goal in your new role for the Atlantic City Board of Education?
I have on my desk a placard that says aim to inspire. I want everybody who reads my stories to be inspired by what's going on in our district, because you might not do the same thing that the people in the stories are doing, but you can take whatever your gift, whatever your skill is, and you can bring your skill to the table to make our community better.
And with that being said, Mark Tyler, thank you for being in the mix.
Thank you, Mayor. Honor and a privilege.
That's it. Let me go run and take this